Hello there. What's going on, everybody? We've got ourselves a little recap of the X-Wing live stream. We're going to talk about some of the new stuff that they showed us. There will be more information than this. Also, there's an article that's going to be coming online. I'll probably talk about the articles separately, but that is also going to be happening. I also want to thank Luxury Playstyle for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check out luxuryplaystyle.com. When you do, don't forget, use code CrabbokVIP. It's going to save you 15%. All right, so we got a lot of stuff here. The first things that we're going to talk about is some of the early stuff that we kind of already knew about, the Wave 7 or the initial Wave 7. This stuff all got previewed early, and we didn't really get a whole lot. So they gave us a couple of articles, a couple of little previews. We got Agent Terex, like the cyborg version of him. He's going to have two versions, and he is going to let you, during the system phase, roll an attack die. If you get a hit or a crit, you're going to gain a calculate. Otherwise, you gain a jam, but it gives you the action ability to be able to transfer a calculate token or a jam token to another ship at range 0 to 3. So a lot of flexibility on this, although a little bit of a chance to mess with people. Maybe you just get yourself a calculate token, no problem. Well, the cool thing about that is it doesn't require an action, so you can get a free calculate, you know, and that's awesome. It does give you the option to get rid of a jam if you end up screwing up, but then it's going to kind of cost you your action. So I don't know, if you feel like random stuff, this one might not be the one for you. We've got Commander Pyre over here. Oh, I like Commander Pyre. If you've seen Resistance, First Order is going to be for setup. And this is all stuff from the Xi class shuttle. Again, the first three ships from Wave 7 that we've already known, they gave us some previews on these. We're going to see Commander Pyre's got setup. After placing forces, choose an enemy ship that gains 2 stress tokens at the start of the game, right? Well, after placing forces. And while you defend, the attacker if the attacker is stressed, you can re-roll a defense die. So that much is really cool. So I like what he's got going on here. I like the early game kind of stress. Oh, for the Lat Eye, we've got a Gunner Rex, and I love it. And it was a pretty good live stream. Big thanks to FFG for putting out the live stream. What I think I'm going to do in the future for these is I'll probably restream them so we can talk about the stuff immediately following. I think that's, especially for tomorrow's Armada stream, I think I'm going to do that. Clone Captain Rex is a gunner, and he's going to say, while you perform an attack, you may spend a focus result. If you do, each friendly ship that has the defender in its bullseye arc may gain a strain token to perform a focus action. So if you like this is so cool, right? Like, especially if you're not taking a focus action yourself, what were you going to do with that focus die? You know, maybe you needed to do some kind of repositioning, or maybe you needed to take a target lock or whatever. You know what? You spend that, give everybody else a focus. He's total team support right here, right? Love it. Absolutely love Rex. And we got Yoda. We got the man. We got Republic Yoda. Only Republic, though. Sorry, Rebels. This is not your Yoda. This is not the Yoda you were looking for, Rebels. I've been wanting Yoda in the Rebels for a long time, but not going to happen anytime soon. 2 force, recurring 1 at 1 each turn. So, like, 2 force from a crew. He is not going to be cheap. Definitely not going to be cheap. He gives you the purple coordinate action, but he also mentors other Jedi, because he says after another friendly ship, so it can't be yourself, after another friendly ship at range 0 to 2 fully executes a purple maneuver or performs a purple action, you may spend a force. If you do, that ship recovers a force. They had to spend one, so he's helping them do their stuff a little bit better. Yes, and purple maneuvers are absolutely a thing, folks. We know that the ETA 2 has that little purple Talon roll. We saw that in the dial from the previews yesterday. We're probably going to talk about those more once we actually get the full-blown preview article and can zoom in on the dials a little bit more. For our HMP gunship, we're getting these repulsor lift stabilizers inactive. And this is a dual flip side card. You're going to put this side face up. It's going to reduce the difficulty of your straight maneuvers. After you fully execute a maneuver, you may flip this card. This might mean that this ship actually, I think we had the dial for this one too, but it's going to have an ugly dial if this one isn't face up. But if it does become active and flipped over, after you reveal a bank or turn maneuver, you must perform that maneuver as a side slip, then flip this card. A side slip is basically like a circular strafe. All right. So when this is over, you have to either go straight or side slip. There's no thing. After you do a non-side slip maneuver, you then may flip the card. So you're kind of broadcasting what you're going to do. You're either going to side slip or go straight. So that's kind of cool. And a side slip basically looks like this. And so they didn't really point out as to like exactly how you are doing the side slip maneuver. Like it's presumed that you're going to use like the same basic movement template, but it's not exactly clear if you have to go inwards or outwards, or if anything is, or if you have the choice of that. They did say, though, however, that this is going to be center to center, so no kind of, fidgeting forward or backward like you might be able to do with a barrel roll. Then we start talking about Wave, where I think this is affectionately called 7.1. They said that these other two expansions are still part of Wave 7, but are coming out at a different date. I think a couple of weeks later, or the very next month, but within a 30-day kind of window or something like that. So the TIE RB Heavy, or the TIE Brute, we got to look at this. One of the things they really wanted to emphasize with the discussion about the TIE Brute was how incredibly huge it is, and you can kind of see it here in this close-up picture because its cockpit, is so small considering that giant, bulbous dome chassis that it's on. You can see this is a medium base also. So think of this as a TIE fighter that's almost the size of the Slave One, right? So a really big TIE fighter. Another cool thing we learned about the physical model itself is that this is, it's got those cannons on the front. They actually are going to articulate, they're going to rotate back and forth, because this ship, while it doesn't have a printed firing arc, it does have, here, we'll just tell you, it's got rotating cannons, right? Rotating cannons, here we got a preview of this one. You can rotate your turret indicator only to the front and rear. You must treat your front arc requirements of your equipped cannon upgrades as turret upgrades. Now, there's a specific interaction in there that they called out specifically, and that is a card like Heavy Laser Cannon that uses the bullseye does not get treated to the rear one. So while you can equip a Heavy Laser Cannon, it's going to be locked in the forward position. It's only going to shoot forward because you don't have a bullseye in the rear. So Rampage. Now the ship itself is going to be 2 primary attack, 1 agility, 8 hull, so very, very beefy. You have focus, you have reinforced target lock, you have a red barrel roll, and you can rotate into a red calculate. Rampage is going to basically your initiative 4. Initiative 4. I always go back and forth between still wanting to call it pilot skill. And then, of course, he wants to charge at people. So if you're executing a speed 3 or 4 maneuver, you can choose a ship in your turret arc at range 0 to 1. If you do, that ship gains a strain token, or 2 strain tokens if you are damaged. So if you are on fire flying at him, you're going to be more intimidating. We also got the Heralds of Hope, and I initially thought they said Heras of Hope, and I was thinking, wait, did they have Hera in an X-Wing and Hera in an A-Wing in this? Of course, it's not for the Rebels, though, but that would be really funny if it had a Hera for every ship, so you could fly Heras of Hope. My dog's name is also Hera, so I imagine a little, like my dog with a little angel costume before she bites my face off. So we got a little bit from the Heralds of Hope, and basically we're getting 2 X-Wings and an A-Wing, and we got some pretty cool stuff here. Now, we're getting different versions of Poe. And also Snap Wexley. We're getting, again, it's the same as Poe in the T-70. That's why they have the subtitles listed now on the points, so you can see which Poe it is. This is not the hotshot ace Poe that we saw in Episode 7. This is the leader Poe we see in Episode 9, who has a different pilot ability that's more dedicated towards helping your team. After a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 performs an action during its activation, you can spend 2 charge. If you do, that ship may perform a white action, treating it as red. So you can give out extra actions. Now, this one can also work for yourself, but again, it's not something that's going to be able to be done every turn. It costs you 2 charge, so you can do it every other turn. So that's something to think about. We got another version of Snap Wexley, or Temmin Wexley, who is black too, and this one he's fiddling with gadgets and doing some very clever things. At the start of the engagement phase, each friendly T-70 X-Wing at range 0 to 3 may gain a strain to flip its equipped configuration upgrade. If it does, the ship gains a calculate token. So you're going to gain a strain and a calculate. And this is at the start of engagement, though, so you're not going to be able to do a blue maneuver afterwards and then clear that strain. So that's something to think about. We got an A-Wing here, and this one's really interesting. Initiative 1 A-Wing pilot Merle Cobbin in the RZ2 A-Wing. And he's Initiative 1, and I'm really curious what he's going to look like as far as available upgrades, because I initially thought of Initiative 1 with Snapshot would be awesome, and we'll have to see. I'm just curious. I get that, like, A-Wings have an extra talent upgrade. Okay, great, but maybe this guy doesn't, right? Like, just because that's another reason why I don't like that everything you have to wait for the PDF for everything. I would love to see at least the alpha plan for him. What was the initial plan for him printed on the card? That's something that I would like. But either way, we don't know if he can take snapshot or not. Presumably, though, he probably can, which is going to make him really cool, just for that fact alone. But for other things, too, because he wants to get in there and bump. At Initiative 1, he's going to be moving first in a lot of games. So while a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 performs a primary attack, if you are in the defender's bullseye arc, the defender rolls 1 fewer defense die. So he wants to get in the way. He wants to block and then support the team that way, which is pretty fun. And then, of course, even if you miss or you don't manage to get into that perfect block, snapshot would still help you kind of get in a position and take a nice little shot. Here's a really cool upgrade we're getting here with this particular pack. We're getting the Starbird Slash. Not starboard, like, in other words, the right side of the ship, but Starbird, as in it's a bird in the stars. So that's kind of a little punny thing right there. And it's A-Wing only, which is, yeah, by the way, this can be used on other A-Wings. And it's not the only upgrade that's going to come in this pack that helps the Rebels out as well. It's just one that they happened to focus on a little bit. And so that much is pretty cool. I like that. I like that a lot. The Starbird Slash says, after you fully execute a maneuver, you may choose one enemy ship you moved through. That ship gains a strain token. Then, if you're in that ship's firing arc, you gain a strain token. So that's pretty cool. It's like, so if you're flying over ships and moving fast, you can do some nasty little things, which is pretty cool. But I just like that. Like, one of the design concepts they talked about is how this might work a little differently on an RZ1 versus an RZ2, but they figured it was good enough to potentially be used for both of them. So that's pretty cool. They also talked about some other S-foil cards that we might see in here. There are 3 single arc turret indicators in this pack, and they made clear to point out that that was not an accident. So apparently X-Wings may be able to equip a turret somehow. That much is very interesting. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but hey, who knows? We're getting the Overdrive Thruster for the T-70 X-Wing. This is going to come in this pack. While you perform a red boost, barrel roll, or slam action, you must use a template of 1 speed higher if able. There were some questions about how this would actually interact with slam, or what cases you would be doing a red slam or something like that. But either way, yeah, I just think the idea of doing 2 red boosts or 2 red barrel rolls sounds really, really fun. I look forward to that. That looks really, really cool. And then we finally get our preview of Wave 8. Which is very interesting because Wave 8 looks really good. All right, first thing we're going to talk about is the ETA 2. One of the biggest things with the ETA 2 that they talk about is this hyperspace ring is a whole separate piece. They did not answer the question that was asked multiple times. Is it getting its own base? I don't know. And I would assume maybe it does, because basically the base is going to have its own ship card. It's going to be something you can dock with, but it's not going to be legal in extended or hyperspace play. So here comes like the first ever ship that they're going to sell you that you cannot use in any tournament type of format. But don't read too badly into that, because the ETA 2 is totally legal. It's just the hyperspace docking ring. Think of it as a bonus. Think of it as you're buying the ETA 2, and as an added bonus, you're getting a hyperspace docking ring that you can use for narrative events, epic play, huge ship games, casual games. You can do that, because it's basically going to let you do things like hyperspace in and dock with it. And so that'll be fun. It's just, they just don't think that that's appropriate for tournament play, so that's why it's not legal in hyperspace or extended. But we didn't get to see too much of that, but basically it was described as something that would have very, very limited mobility based on your ship's arc. So maybe only 1 speed maneuvers that appear on your ship's dial or something like that. That's kind of my guess. And then perhaps a little bit of hull, so like maybe 2 hull, and then once it breaks through, then you launch from there. So you kind of hide in that, and that kind of shields you from some of the damage while you kind of get ready to dock or to disembark, and then go ahead and then deploy outwards from there. And that sounds kind of cool. I could see like having a couple ships do something like that. They also mentioned that 3 different ships can dock with this. In addition to the ETA 2, both the Delta 7 and the I believe the Tri-Fighter, not the Tri-Fighter, the V-Wing rather, will be able to dock with this. So that's cool. The Tri-Fighter is not even in that faction. What am I? I'm looking at my notes, and I read the wrong thing. So sometimes when you're talking and you see the wrong thing, you say the wrong thing. So that's a pretty funny thing. By the way, Mid interruption. The giveaway is still going on, and that's going to be announced this weekend at the end of one of my videos. So it's for a $100 Amazon gift card. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment if you want to enter to win that. And if you're looking to support the channel, in addition to checking out the sponsor using luxury playstyle code Crabbok VIP, there's also merch. Whoops, Darth Maul upside down. We got a lot of these masks and new T-shirts and. The Ahsoka neck gaiter. A lot of that stuff is all down in the description below. So check the description for a lot of like social media things and the merch store and all that stuff if you want to help support the channel. But I am glad that you're just here. So thank you so much for hanging out. Okay, let's take a look at the Edit 2 because we get a look at Anakin Skywalker. First off, this is it's got a bullseye arc and a full frontal arc, which is pretty nice. So if they're directly in front of you, you can get that 3 damage on there. It's like not as strong as the X-Wing, but if you're lined up just right, so that's kind of cool. 3 agility, 3 hull, 3 force for Anakin, so that's kind of cool. We've got, we can focus, we can evade, and it's not a purple evade this time. We can barrel roll, and we can boost. We have intuitive controls built into this particular ship, so during the system phase, you may perform a purple barrel roll or purple boost action. So you can still, spend a lot of force in this one, but this is before you maneuver, and they didn't want you to be able to double maneuver or double reposition after you maneuver. And so, and I can see that. And, if you're going to do the boost action first and then you move, you'll only be able to maybe barrel roll as your action, and then of course you've spent a force already, and now you won't be able to, do your focus unless, of course, you have some other upgrades or something else that's letting you do that. But Anakin's pilot ability here is really cool because this one's actually calling out Obi-Wan Kenobi specifically. After you or a friendly Obi-Wan Kenobi ship at range 0 to 3 executes a maneuver, if there are more enemy ships than other friendly ships at range 0 to 1 of that ship, you may spend a force. If you do, the ship removes a red token of your choice. So, if your Obi-Wan Kenobi wants to do a red K turn and finds himself in trouble, you can say, hey, you know what? Boom. That was a white maneuver. You got it, buddy. So like pretty good teamwork there, especially if you want Anakin and Obi-Wan to fly together. And they didn't show us the Obi-Wan Kenobi card, but they mentioned that Obi-Wan Kenobi also has a synergy with Anakin Skywalker, which will work on any version of Anakin Skywalker. And that is really the cool thing. It works on any version. So Anakin can fly with Obi-Wan in his Delta 7. Obi-Wan in the Edit 2 can fly with Anakin in a Y-Wing, for example. Whatever you want to do. They can work with any different version. You can even take little Annie in the N1 Starfighter, which is kind of cool. So, this ship looks really fun. I can't. As a Republic player, I really like this one. We also get a Republic R2 Astromech, the first R2 Astromech here. He's got 2 charge, non-recurring, but he lets you do a lot of different things. After you activate, you can gain a deplete token, to repair a damage card, recover a shield, or remove a device, which is going to be really useful for those buzz droids, and that also makes him thematic to how he performed in that opening scene of Episode 3. Great scene, by the way. The V-Wing, we got a little bit of a look at the V-Wing. They weren't sure if the actual wings kind of articulated or moved at all. They kind of seemed like, nah, they didn't think they did. There's going to be some clone pilots for the V-Wing, but possibly also some Jedi pilots. But we're going to, I think they did say that there was the possibility of having Jedi pilots. But we got Wilf Tarkin in the V-Wing, which is really interesting. Now, there's a couple of interesting things we're going to talk about with the Nimbus class V-Wing. First off, it is got twin ion engines. And that means it's, is the predecessor for the TIE Fighter in a lot of ways. So it's got, ignores TIE ship restrictions on upgrade cards, which means it's going to come with some TIE upgrade cards, and those theoretically should also be able to be used for other types of TIE Fighters that are in the game, and there are many. It's got 2 attack, 3 agility, 2 hull, 2 shields, so that's nice. It's shielded a little bit. You got focus, target lock, red barrel roll, and regular white boost into red lock, which is cool. Tarkin's ability is during the system phase, you may choose an object that you have locked at range 1 to 3. Another friendly ship at range 1 to 3 may acquire a lock on that option. So, good teamwork there from a lower initiative pilot. That's pretty cool. And we also get a configuration here. The Alpha 3B Besh. While you perform a primary attack, you may spend your lock on the defender to change one of your blank or eyeball results to a hit result and add the bomb slot. So, and they talk about how this was a very versatile fighter also. So that much is actually pretty cool. And I liked that. I liked that quite a bit. So that much is pretty nice. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, well, we got the Tri-Fighter. I missed the box art from this one. Didn't grab the image from it. But yeah, the Tri-Fighter is supposed to be a pretty expensive fight. A pretty expensive ship to be fighting up against. It's it could be, it could get one-shotted, but it probably won't. And one of the reasons for that is that it's a networked calculations ship that's got 3 agility. So if you put this by itself, then sure, it could die quickly. But if you're running this with a bunch of other networked calculations droid fighters, which generally you should, that's kind of the idea of this ship, is to be like that super hard-hitting ace sort of backed up by his buddies. That you're going to be able to have a lot of calculates to pull from. So those those green dice, you're not just going to be sitting there with one focus. You're going to be able to just keep changing them eyeballs all day long, in theory. And DS T81 has the ability that lets him do network calculations even better. While you defend or perform an attack, if you spend 1 calculate token from a friendly ship in the enemy's firing arc to change an eyeball or an evade or a hit. In addition to networked calculations. There's also another networked calculations type of card coming that's going to boost network calculation. This will be in the mod slot. And that, so I think we'll be getting a preview on that pretty soon. We got 3 attack, 3 agility, 3 hull. We can calculate, evade, target lock, boost, or barrel roll, and those are both linked actions into evade or calculate, respectively. So a lot of maneuverability on a ship like this. They did say it would not be cheap, so we'll have to see what they mean by that. Django's Slave 1, we did get a look at this one, and from what we can tell, it seems like it's just a repaint of the existing Fire Spray model. But boy, it looks great. Django says, while you defend or perform a primary attack, if the difficulty of your revealed maneuver is less than that of the enemy ships, you may change one of the enemy ships' eyeball results to a blank result. Yeah, that's really, really nice. I'm a big fan of that. It looks good. He has 3 in the front, 3 in the back, 2 agility, 6 hull, and 4 shields. He can boost, and he can focus and target lock and reinforce. And Django's going to come with his son. So yes, you're going to be able to run little Boba. Pack your things. We're leaving, is what he says. That's what Django's going to say. But yeah, so you're getting a Boba. And oh, by the way, he's separatist or scum. What do you think about that, Baby Yoda? He doesn't know. He just wants to drink his tea. So Boba, yeah, Boba's separatist or scum. While you perform an attack, if there are no other ships in the attack arc, you may change one of your eyeballs to a hit. So that's a nice little. That's a really good. That's a really good gunner ability. I kind of like it. I think that's all the cards that they gave us previews of. We learned a couple of things, like purple maneuvers are a thing. If you have to spend a force to do the purple maneuver. If you for whatever reason, if you can't spend a force to do it and you have one dialed up, then you treat it like a red maneuver that you couldn't take. So I think like a two white straight maneuver. A structure is a new thing that is upcoming. You're gonna have structures. The future of Epic was talked about a little bit, and they did talk about how Epic Play would continue to be supported through the main game. So they talked about there'd be some new wing tool cards that come with some of the new ships, so you can run them as wings. And then they talked a little bit about Hyperspace, because the stream almost finished, but then we're kind of forced to talk a little bit more about Hyperspace, and they kind of went over a lot of the points changes and the Hyperspace changes that we've kind of already talked about. They kind of reinforced a lot of the things they already said. But then there were some other questions like, hey, could you maybe consider changing the points between something that's an extender and hyperspace and making those different? And I think that it was kind of like a soft no, but not a complete no. It's like anything's possible, but they said that would be really complicated. They even talked about crazy ideas like, we're not completely closed to the idea of making huge ships legal in extended or hyperspace at some point. So like they're keeping doors open for things like that. It's just not locked in yet. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I think that's going to wrap up this, like a good summary of the X-Wing live stream from Gen Con. Join me tomorrow, next day, keep going. I'm going to be talking all of this stuff. I'm going to be live streaming, I think, for the rest of their live streams, and then we'll, talk about the articles as they come out, and it's just as much information as I can get, I'll be relaying to you guys. I want to thank you all so much. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing and definitely help make this all possible. Thank you so much. And if you guys are interested in becoming a patron or supporting the channel in any other way, check out the description below. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. And as always, Have a great day.